I'm turning 79 this year, and I'm finding the older I get, the more family history interests me. As I started researching this history, I concluded I should perhaps share this information with current and future generations. This, of course, would mean writing a book. As I started organizing the information, I soon found that I had far more photos and data than I could possibly put into a book. I solved this problem by including a micro SD card with the book. This allowed me to include hundreds of photos plus family recipe books, video recordings that have been done, an amazing amount of information. I will demonstrate how to do this later in the video. For the cover of the book, I thought I'd use the family crest, embellish the art slightly, and then put it on the cover. I started the book with some of my earliest childhood memories. The memories begin in the late 40s, perhaps early 50s. By then, the day of the horse and buggy had long since passed. However, the city was still delivering milk and bread via horse and wagon. The highlight of my day was watching the milkman put the feed bag on the horse. At the time, milk was delivered with a bottle that had kind of a bubble shape on top where the cream would accumulate. We would always have to remember to shake the bottle before we poured ourselves a glass of milk. The book included many of my growing up memories. Several years after I was married, my wife's grandmother came for a visit and shared her pioneer story with us that I found quite interesting and included it in the book. She tells of how her and her husband met in Austria and decided that he would go to Canada to start a homestead, and as soon as he had a home built for them, he would send for her. Well, things didn't work out quite as good as he had hoped, and it took him a lot longer to have a home ready for her than he expected. And so as his letters went back to Austria, he was describing the progress on the new home he was building until finally he announced it was finished. So she booked passage to come to Canada, and he picked her up in Regina, and they went to the new homestead in Dysart, Saskatchewan. She arrived at the homestead to find they would be spending the winter living in a haystack. Needless to say, living in a haystack through a Saskatchewan winter was not a pleasant experience. The book goes on to explain probably some of my fondest lifetime memories, and that is growing up as a teenager in the late 50s, early 60s. During that time, all boys were very interested in cars, and the day you turned 16, you got your driver's license. The movie American Graffiti closely captures the environment of the time. I always had a nice car, or tried to have a nice car, and we considered them a chick magnet. The girls were always attracted to the guys that had the nice cars. At date night, it might just be cruising the streets hoping for red lights to see if there is a race, or a night at the drive-in theater. We would often stop at A&W for a burger and a root beer and see who else was hanging out. The book is loaded with memories that will never be written in history books, and I'm sure will be of interest to future generations. With age comes wisdom and a few life lessons that I tried to put in the book to help future generations. So I tried to put a few sub-stories throughout the book that I thought might be of value to the readers. Here are just a few examples. The highlight of the year for us kids was when the Royal American shows came to town, or the traveling exhibition. It was probably the first year I went on my own, and my dad gave me $5 to go and have a good time. I was back within an hour, and he asked me why. I explained that I was trying to win a teddy bear, and I was out of money in minutes. He said, "Let that be a lesson to you," gave me another $5, and the gamers never got another dime from me. I put in another story about losing your temper. I have often called it a weakness of character. This is a problem many of us have from time to time, and I wanted to share some of my life experiences. One of my first memories is, as a boy, being small enough that it took two hands to hold a hammer. And I remember trying to drive a nail into a board, and the nail bending. So in a fit of rage, I swing the hammer back to give it a mighty blow, and manage to hook the claw of the hammer into the back of my head. That taught me a bit of a lesson. Or there was another story when I was probably 12 or 13. We drove to a neighboring city to help one of my uncles building his house. And when we arrived there, another of his brothers is there showing a brand new tape measure that he had just bought. And everyone was marveling over this beautiful new tape measure. We're probably about an hour into the framing of the house, and all of a sudden I hear one of my uncles loudly expressing his disappointment in one of his measurements, taking his tape measure, throwing it into the basement, smashing it into 1,000 pieces. The only thing good that came from that was probably the new words that I learned. So the book is loaded with life lessons and words of wisdom. I talk about how life is loaded with highs and lows, good times and bad times. I always tell my grandchildren, you need to use the highs in life to help carry you through the lows, because they both will come for sure. Things are never so bad that they can't be a whole lot worse. The memory card. I was first thinking a USB stick and wondering how I could include a USB stick with a book in a way that it wouldn't get lost. And there didn't appear to be a solution. Not to mention that USB sticks were not available in very large capacities at a reasonable price. I soon discovered the micro SD card. Wow, 32 gigabytes on a chip the size of your fingernail. Now, how do I put it with the book so it will not get lost? My first thinking was just a small envelope on the back page, but I could see it getting lost in the envelope, or somebody tearing the envelope trying to get it out, and eventually the chip going missing. I needed to come up with a way to ensure the chip would always be with the book. Finally, I came up with a slide-in insert that could be utilized with the envelope and kept the chips securely in place. Using double-sided tape, I could fold over the bottom of the insert, leaving an opening in the middle where the chip would be inserted. This turned out to work perfect. I included many stories in this book that might be of interest to others, and if I get a lot of subscribers to my channel, I may start posting some excerpts from the book that others may find interesting.